a friend of mine, a white friend of mine, in order to show his solidarity with black people, he just posted, there was this old picture of, we were like holding hands, it was just both our hands together, and he posted up a picture of just us holding hands. And he was just like, I'm showing my solidarity with black people. And I was just thinking, this isn't showing your solidarity. Showing your solidarity is not about you posting the black hand and saying that you associate yourself with black people. Showing your solidarity as a white friend is asking your white mates, what is it that we're doing? Why is it that these people, why is it that black people feel so wronged? What have we done specifically that has caused us to feel so wrong? It's not a case of, well, you know, slavery's over, so why are they still upset about it? It's not over. Slavery is not over, it's simply just been redesigned.
This documentary is an exploration of people's experiences of being friends with someone outside their own race. From the people I've spoken to, there is a lot of things that people tend to get wrong. There are a lot of mistakes that people are making, the way that maybe some white people can be a bit heavy-handed around discussing the topic of race, or be really nervous about having a conversation about race. Letting race maybe put people off certain friendship choices. So that's kind of what I wanted to investigate a little bit, get a just feel for a few different people's experiences of what that's like. So the first thing I'm asking people is how they identify racially. I want to give them an opportunity to explain their identity to people and see what they're comfortable saying or not saying.
I identify racially as a black person, a black woman. Black.
I identify as a black man, as an African black man.
White Caucasian.
Yeah. As I'd say Pakistani heritage, but I kind of would tick the box of British Pakistani.
I identify as mixed heritage, East Asian white.
I identify racially as a black British man from Caribbean descent.
I am mixed race, half white British and half black Caribbean.
I identify as black Caribbean.
I identify as white.
Whenever I fill out like information, I always put mixed white Afro-Caribbean. That's me, that's just what I was told.
I would say black British, but for example, when I've been filling out certain forms, there hasn't always been black British on the form. So I think I've put black Caribbean more than anything because that's where my parents are from. But I would say black British because this is where I was born, this is where I was from.
I'd say brown first and then I'd say Asian after. Yeah, I very rarely refer to myself as a Pakistani person. Yeah. I say brown or Asian. I think it's a quick way sort of telling somebody that I'm a person of colour, but without making it explicitly known that I'm not black. Yeah. And there are other people of colour as well, but letting someone know that quite quickly.
So do you feel like, in terms of your identity, you have a dual heritage?
I identify more with being British than I do with sort of saying that I'm Pakistani, but I'm not disregarding that because that's a massive part of who I am.
I grew up as thinking mixed race, and then I suppose as I've got on older, I've probably leaned towards the label of dual heritage.
So you feel lucky that you got two?
Sort of have both. I suppose there's pros and cons to it, I suppose. Like, it is nice to be able to explore both identities and both cultures, but then at the same time I know a lot of people like me and myself who there is like an identity struggle in a sense, like of fitting in a certain one, not really knowing exactly which one you are, but kind of having to forge your own path in the middle somewhere, you know.
Racially, I identify as dual heritage or BAME. You wouldn't know from looking at me, as I'm quarter Jamaican, 3/4 white. I don't look it, but I am it.
Back in the day, it was always a case of me being considered half white or half black, something like a Jamaican bracelet, which I used to come in year 7, it's like, something that's really black or something like that. Or I used to say that I like chicken, and be like, oh yeah, it's your black side coming out in you. Now that I've been able to sort of think about it for a while, I can say that I'm firmly mixed race. We actually went to Jamaica a couple of times back when I was younger, and that really helped me understand like my culture and where I was from and what it meant to be like a mixed race person living in Jamaica. And I feel like that can have a bit of an impact in the future onto how you perceive yourself. I feel like mixed race people have to fit a specific bubble, and I feel like it's very hard that you're often just cast into black mixed race or white mixed race. A white mixed race is kind of like your you know, the colour's there, but the knowledge and the, you know, like the culture isn't. Or your black mixed race, where the knowledge, the colour, the culture is all there and it's all rounded out. And I feel like I sort of fell into the white mixed race category for a bit without being too aware of it myself.
So I'm British, but I was born abroad. I was born in Uruguay, so I do have, well, I could have dual citizenship if I wanted to, but I don't. So I just have British passport, and both my parents are British. It has affected who I am as a person, and I think on top of Uruguay itself, I think being born abroad and from a young age being aware that there's other places in the world and the whole world doesn't revolve around Britain, I think it has definitely influenced my life.
Born and raised here, you know, so I wouldn't say I'm not from anywhere else. To me, British it's a lot of things, you know what I mean? It's a big umbrella of loads of different stuff.
The reason I asked that as the first question was because it got them to explain to the viewers how they identify racially, so that we then have context for their experience further on in the documentary. For the white participants, that question was maybe uncomfortable, or they weren't used to being asked that question as much as our black and brown participants, who you get asked that question all the time. There was a couple of participants who were mixed heritage, and they were like ambiguous, so people want to ask them all the time, where are you from, in that clumsy way. So it's something that I sometimes now, after hearing that, hear myself slipping up saying half white or half black, and that's now making me think, oh, I shouldn't really say that someone's half of anything, because it's offensive to them. So if you've got dual heritage, you have two backgrounds, you have two cultures, you've got kind of the best of both worlds. I think that was something that I've heard people say before, but never really heard their stories being told in this way, so it wasn't something that I was too aware of. My biggest takeaway learning from this identity question was this idea of being stuck in the middle, the duality of being a mixed race person, so someone of dual heritage. So you've got two different cultures here, but neither one accepts you as a full person, only as half a person, and that's really, really horrible for people. So that was quite hard to hear. So that was something that I'm definitely going to learn from.